Interrupt you because this is the time of the year where I read a lot of things off my phone, the draft, free agency. I'm going to read off my phone our Adrian Wojnarowski reporting. The Lakers are near a deal to acquire Washington's Russell Westbrook.
From the Wizards to the Lakers. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, this past season, Russ cemented himself as Mr. Triple-Double, posting up 184 in his career, surpassing Oscar Robertson.
Russell Westbrook has been traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, it has happened. And ever since this trade happened, people have been saying that this trade is not that blockbuster because Westbrook isn't effective anymore and won't fit well within the Lakers system. And if you're one of those people, then you're sadly mistaken, man. Well, actually, kind of. You see, I get that Westbrook is not that type of a player who would help the Lakers win the chip quite possibly, but he is still Russell Westbrook, which means that he's still a beast in one way or another. And pairing him up with LeBron and Anthony Davis would still be lethal. Maybe not sustainable in the playoffs, but still scary. It's kind of an universal fact. If you have these three players on the same team, you're bound for success. Just maybe not as much as you want. But Russell Westbrook is fine and all, but the main player that was getting hype around his name to get traded to the Lakers was Chris Paul. And that didn't happen. So in today's video, we'll look at the scenario and we'll find out what would have happened if Chris Paul were to get traded to the Lakers, replacing Russell Westbrook. This video will mark episode 3 of our What If series on our channel, and this video idea was given to me by Ken. So huge shout out to him for the video idea. Comment down your video ideas if you have any, and I'll make sure to do a video on them. So without further ado, let's get straight into what if Chris Paul got traded to the Lakers, replacing Russell Westbrook. So before we talk about the Lakers side of things, let's see what would have happened as the side effects of this trade to the teams involved. First of all, I think that there was a reason why the Wizards were trading Westbrook, and that would mean that if they can't trade him to the Lakers, they would trade him somewhere else. The team that I think would get the MVP would have been the Philadelphia 76ers. You may ask, how might this trade work at all? Well, it's quite simple. The Wizards want to get rid of Westbrook for a better and more balanced player, and they would get Ben Simmons from the 76ers. The 76ers agreed to this trade since Westbrook, yes, he's not a knockdown sharpshooter, but a huge upgrade from Ben Simmons at least. Embiid gets more space provided around him with Tobias Harris not being a part of this trade, and the 76ers can quite possibly make a deep playoff run. The Wizards can either keep Simmons for his playmaking ability, providing Bradley Beal a smarter passer than Westbrook so he can get more opportunities, or they can trade him for another valuable asset, Kyle Lowry possibly. And the draft pick, salary matchers, and all that stuff I won't get into because, let me be honest, I don't know the pick system. Like, I don't know how all that stuff works, like which pick they would have to trade or how much the other players are getting paid to match the salaries. The two teams will sort that out, but the main point here is Westbrook is traded to the 76ers and the Wizards get Ben Simmons. And now let's talk about the Lakers. So the Lakers get Chris Paul in return for maybe Kuzma, KCP, and Montrez, basically who they traded for Westbrook. This would mean that Booker gets another score type player, I guess, in Kyle Kuzma next to him, but DeAndre Ayton, who had openly said that Chris Paul was the best thing that ever happened to him in his career.
That's really the only teammate that really pushed me, like big bro type push, knowing what I got and that I never thought that I had. I think he was the best thing that happened to my career. You know, I can say that every day. You know, just C is really a dude who pays attention to detail. It's not how he said, it's what he's saying. You know, I think most people don't get. You know, it's just a message for real, and he cares so much. It's actually crazy. I never know a guy could, you know, care so much about basketball and compete at everything. And you know, it's contagious, and you know that's what it built in me as well.
Might not be as good as he was this year because the playmaking and leadership presence is now gone. This simply means that the Phoenix Suns won't be as good as this season and might not even make the playoffs if no further moves happen. With Chris Paul, the Lakers are bound to shine since Chris Paul can be the primary playmaker to AD like he was with Ayton, and LeBron doesn't really have to do everything in the regular season, providing him enough rest to be 100% in the playoffs where it matters the most. Anthony Davis will be better than he ever was since he will be healthy and fresh after a tough 2021 campaign, and he'll look to be a top 5 player in the NBA, which was taken away from him this year. Chris Paul definitely wants to win his first championship after he was 2 games away from doing so this year. And because of this motivation around all 3 of the Lakers' core players, or trio, whatever you want to call it, they will most likely win the NBA championship in 2022. Yes, bold claim. If the Lakers get Chris Paul instead of Russell Westbrook, they will win the 2022 NBA championship. Now, this is all if no significant injuries happen. Injuries can happen to anyone and at any time, but for the sake of this video and for the series that I'm doing for What Ifs, it's all being done with me keeping in mind that no injuries happen because we can't predict what will happen in the future. But yeah, guys, that wraps it up for today's video. We'll see CP3 win his first championship, LeBron winning his 5th of the decade, tying Kobe Bryant, and if he wins Finals MVP too, he might just solidify himself as a true GOAT instead of MJ. Anthony Davis will have a great comeback season, which he might not have if Westbrook was there, and the Lakers will take the title of most championships won by a franchise with 18, surpassing the Boston Celtics, who are currently tied with the Lakers with 17. If you guys enjoyed this video, then go ahead and like the video, showing some appreciation. Help me reach 200 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Once again, a huge thank you to Ken for the video idea, and everybody have a great rest of your day. Peace.